is Zaini Ademus. I run the Empire of Enlightenment channel. I'm leading the Hunting for Hook Humans PSA operation, and I am now heading up the Cerebrals temple. So this is what this show is going to be all about. So we're going to begin by introducing you to the Cerebrals and kind of just getting into how they work, who they are, and what they make together as a social alchemy group. Before I get into what the Cerebrals are as a social alchemy group, I'm going to have to start by defining social alchemy. So social alchemy is essentially the mathematic relationships that exist between mojos and as well as the pod powers of mojos, the storylines of mojos, how they actually ping off over the mojos, the powers, the storylines of others. And so when grouped, then it will actually cause certain relationships to happen. And when different mojos group together, then it forms a spirit form, like a unit of human math, kind of like in the same way where you have atoms, but then when they group together, they form molecules, which is something else entirely. The Cerebrals are part of the Storyline Quartet, and the Storyline Quartet refers to a mojo's top two momentum powers, or the channels of their top two powers. So this is essentially their momentum way of going about things. So there are 4 of these groupings, and there are 4 channels. Although when we refer to Cerebrals, then we're specifically referring to mojos whose 2 powers begin on either the interpretive channel or logic-based channel, in either order. The interpretive channel is essentially the pattern-based perception, and it includes the powers of Nai and Ni, and the logic-based channel is the logic-based discernment channel, including Z and Zai. So as a Zaini, I start on the logic-based channel because my source power is Zai, and my tandem power is Ni. So what comes second is the interpretive channel. Some samples of Zaini females are Bonnie Bassler, Barbara Block, Nancy Brinker, Gina Davis, Ariane Friedrich, Enriquez, Denby Zamoyo, Ashley Olsen, Elizabeth Olsen, and Mary Kate Olsen. And some samples of Zaini males are Doug Jones, Jim Parsons, Jeff Goldblum, Richard Feynman, Bill Nye, Stephen Merchant, AJ Jacobs, Clifford Stoll, Rupert Sheldrick, and John Oliver. Then there's the Ni Zai, which would actually be my inverse. They begin on the interpretive channel with Ni, and then go to Zai for the logic-based channel. Some samples of Ni-Zai females are Mila Jovovich, Keira Knightley, Heidi Klum, Coco Austin, Kate Blanchett, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Avril Lavigne, Whitney Cummings, and Amy Poehler. And some samples of Ni-Zai males are Stephen Colbert, Bill Gates, Will Smith, Jim Carrey, Quentin Tarantino, Conan O'Brien, Lawrence Krauss, Will Arnett, Jason Sudeikis, and Tim Curry. Then there's the Nai-Z, whose source power of Nai means they begin on the interpretive channel, and their tandem power of Z means they have the logic-based channel second. Some samples of Nai-Z females are Noomi Rapace, Sigourney Weaver, Hillary Clinton, Jada Pinkett Smith, Whoopi Goldberg, Tina Fey, Chelsea Handler, Tilda Swinton, Joan Jett, and Ellen Page. And some samples of Nai-Z males are Sean Connery, Samuel L. Jackson, Bruce Willis, Steve Jobs, Robert De Niro, George Carlin, David Letterman, William Dafoe, David Bowie, and Christian Bale. And then there are the Z-Nai, who, because of their source power of Z, means they begin on the logic-based channel, and their tandem power of Nai means that they have the interpretive channel second. Some samples of female are Ivanka Trump, Maria Bartiromo, Joy Behar, Lisa Randall, Carolyn Porco, Melinda Gates, Ariana Huffington, Anne Sweeney, Natalie Batalha, and Rachel Maddow. Some samples of Z-Nai males are Zahi Hawass, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jesse Ventura, Donald Trump, Cenk Uygur, Howie Long, Terry Bradshaw, Ryan Seacrest, Dick Butkus, and John Roberts. The Cerebrals have a lot of shared elements within their quartet, so they kind of have their own duo social alchemy subsets. And so there are the adserbs, derserbs, nizez, zinez, and obserbs and subserbs. So there are the adserbs, which are the adaptive cerebrals, and this is the Zi-Ni and Ni-Zai. They're the two mojos that have Ni and Zai as their top two powers. Then there are the derserbs, which are the directive cerebrals, and this is the Ni-Z and Z-Ni. These are the two mojos that have Ni and Z as their top two momentum powers. Then there's the Nizez, which is the Ni-Zai and Ni-Z, so it's the Ni-Zai and Ni-Z, or Ni-Z and Ni-Zai inspirational storyline, so that's the Nizez. Then there's the Zinez, which is the Zi-Ni and Z-Ni, so this is the Zi-Ni Z-Ni, or Z-Ni Zi-Ni. Either way, you could think of it like the logic interpretive storyline, and with the Nizez, then you have the interpretive logic storyline. And so, yes, that was the Zinez. Then there are the subserbs, which are the subjective interpretive logic based. And this is the Zi-Ni and the Ni-Z, so they're the two subjective cerebrals. Then there are the obserbs, which are objective cerebrals. These are the two mojos who are objective, interpretive, and logic-based. The purpose of Cerebral Temple is to teach the cerebrals about who they actually are, and this includes the theory, but also hot topics such as the cerebrals are very prevalent in science, technology, and comedy. All cerebrals have one momentum power in both the upper and lower ends of the science and spirituality index. The cerebrals tend to have a common interest in experimentation, cutting-edge practices, advances in communication and the transmission of information, and an interest in global systems understanding and overhauling, and technologically progressive world building. What some people might think of as the stereotypes for cerebrals that were created by other models like typology might be skewed because those creators of those models themselves were often romantics who thought that they were cerebrals. And so they had kind of cerebral envy going on, and there's a lot of stereotypes that are creative about what cerebrals are like and that are very not true. And, for example, you'll see things in there that suggest that they're all bad with relationships, no matter who they are, no matter how their development is, and things like that. They're presupposing bad development, and then pretty much implying that there is no such thing as good development. So with Cerebrals Temple, we're actually exploring what real cerebrals are for the very first time. And so we're going to be shattering a lot of those stereotypes. Like, for example, cerebrals are actually quite warm. When they're doing their synamnia right, then they are actually they can be very warm people. So, being cerebral doesn't automatically make them cold and distant. Cerebrals also have very non-standard style kind of relationships because there's also a lot of meme bias toward what a relationship is actually supposed to look like or what it's supposed to be like or feel like, and a lot of that is kind of romantics biased as well. But the cerebrals, this is another way that we're kind of have to detach from the meme and kind of explore what a relationship actually is, and the cerebrals do have very unique relationships. And something that's a common part of that is clever banter being a part of the push and pull between the two inspirational mojos. The Cerebrals Temple is the only of its kind, so you will never be able to find anything like this anywhere, no matter what anyone else is saying, because they don't actually have clean samples. They don't have any way of seeing that you are, in fact, a cerebral. So what they might tell you is a cerebral, it's probably not. So Cerebrals Temple is going to be the most pure resource for actually teaching you as a cerebral how you work, because the purpose of the temple is to show cerebrals that they all have incredible abilities that they should learn to master and love themselves for, as well as to teach cerebrals about how they are to treat the other social alchemy groupings, as well as to teach the other mojos about how they're to treat cerebrals. So as the first Cerebrals temple, this is going to be a pioneering think tank, essentially, that's going to be continuously exploring the cerebral way of actually approaching reality. And so being a part of this, you are going to actually be getting massive insights from this because you are a cerebral working with cerebrals. And by being a part of this, you'll also be giving back to the world too, because you were helping expanding this this ongoing think tank. Be sure to take a look at the Mojo Spotlight episodes as well as the Mojo Crash Courses to learn more about Cerebrals and ask any questions you like here. And Cerebrals Temple will do its best to answer those questions. So until then, know yourself, grow yourself, save the world.